All right, good morning, everyone. It's me, Gary Ryan, here with you on a Wednesday. Yeah, had an unexpected day off today, and so I figured, well, we'll get a video done. So today I know some people that I've been talking to are very interested in attendance and using that as an indicator as far as how the league is growing, how it's doing, and so uh, obviously expansion is kind of factored in with this as well, and we're seeing expansion happening in the hockey world. We got Danville coming into the Fed next year. Let's see, the SP announced Athens, Georgia. There's a couple of teams coming into the ECHL. So, yeah, expansion is good, but obviously, expansion doesn't work if you don't have butts in the seat. So, they go hand in hand. But anyway, I wanted to look at how the league is doing compared to last year. Last year, obviously, was the best year that the Fed has ever had, and by a large margin. Last year it was roughly, I think the total was 630,000 fans altogether. So, that's great. And of course, the prospects of having more fans this year is higher because we have more teams. Last year we had 10 teams. This year we have 11. But anyway, so I want to go through the teams, and I'm just going through the established teams first. And when I say established, that means there was a team there last year as well, alphabetically, and see how we're doing from last year to this year and the percentage of change. Now, Binghamton is surprisingly one of the three teams that right now has a little bit of a decrease in attendance. However, a couple of things to consider. First of all, we're not through the season yet. Binghamton still has 9 home games left, and um, typically December doesn't draw well, not just for Binghamton, but for a lot of teams. It seems like December attendance falls off and then it picks up. So I expect all of these numbers, even the positive numbers, to improve by the time we get to the end of the year. So last year, Binghamton led the league 38-30 in their attendance. This year, right now, to this point, it's 37-59. So it's a drop of 1.8%. Not a big deal. It's still relatively close. And again, we've got some prime dates coming up. So I expect Binghamton to probably match last year's total, if not surpass it. Um, Carolina, I mean, my goodness, this team is probably the closest to capacity, percentage of capacity of any team, and they've improved by 1.1%. So fantastic. Yeah, 29-11 is what they're drawing in the annex, which seats 3,200. So you're averaging less than 300 empty seats a night. That's pretty darn good. Columbus, they got a nice big arena and managed to fill it this last weekend. So that obviously helped numbers, but um, they have an average of 37-47 right now. 13 home games left. By the way, I put a blue check by the teams that have the potential at this rate. Uh, at the rate they're going, they will surpass 100,000 fans drawn in this year in 28 games. Fantastic. So Columbus is one of those teams. Uh, okay, Danbury. They've had the biggest increase of any team by percentage, and winning a championship will help that tremendously. So yeah, they have jumped from 1755, which I want to note that Danbury, whether it's the Hat Tricks or the Titans or the Whalers, they've always been around that 1700, 1800, 1900 mark. And this year they're drawing 2125 per game. So that's a 21.1% increase. That is incredible. So yeah, lots of things going right in Danbury this year. Elmira, this is the sore spot and kind of worrisome. The fact that attendance has dropped off this much. Now, Elmira's story, we've talked about it in previous videos. Elmira, in relation to the fans, has had kind of a tumultuous relationship the last few years. We had the Enforcers for 3 years. The Enforcers drew very well. The team was pretty much yanked out from under them, and so then they try and rebrand, new ownership. The Mammoth come in. Mammoth didn't do too bad for a first year team because they were a first year team. It was an expansion team. The Enforcers were done, and you're moving on. You're going with a new ownership group, and despite not playing well on the ice, they drew pretty well, 2045. But this year, uh, it's not working. It just isn't. And yeah, attendance has fallen off 43%. And they only have 11 dates left, so that's not gonna really turn around much. And again, that's a worry. That is a concern. Um, but other teams seem to be doing well. Um, yeah, Mississippi, second year team, and they did pretty well drawing for the first year. Uh, Joe Pace and Barry Soskin didn't have a whole lot of time to get things going with marketing and promotion for the first year, and they still drew 2645 last year. And this year it's up over 100 per game, so a 4.1% increase. Fantastic job done by Mississippi. Motor City. Now they've been having a hard time drawing. It's really hard to draw attention to a single A hockey team in a major market like Detroit. I mean, Fraser is one of the suburbs surrounding Detroit, so it's the whole Detroit metropolitan area. And when you got the Red Wings, you got the Lions, you got the Tigers, you got the Pistons. Everybody's used to major league sports, and so minor leagues are a tough draw. They are up this year by 4.3%, which is great. I'm sorry, 4.1%. And they have the most home dates left of anyone. They still have 16 games at home, so they've got a chance to bump that over 1,000. That would really help them out tremendously if they could do that. Port Huron, they're down for whatever reason. I'm not really sure. But yeah, they're down 21%. But they've got time to turn around. They still have 13 home dates left, so they could definitely pump up their numbers and kind of narrow the gap there. Watertown, smallest arena in the league, 1,500, and they're up 7.3%. So that's fantastic. And one of the things to consider with Watertown is they have a lot of Sunday dates. Sundays aren't a good draw. Um, you want your Friday games, you want your Saturday games. And they have some, but they have a lot of Sunday dates, and yet despite that, they're still up 7%. So that's fantastic. So you take these 9 teams, and you look at the number from last year: 20,043 fans last year by average. This year, down a little bit. It's 19,565. That's down 2.6%. However, you got to remember we got 2 other clubs here. And Baton Rouge uh, drawing very, very well right now, third in the league in attendance. And I mean, what a fantastic, fantastic turnout for a team that honestly I thought, yeah, didn't do a great job as far as promotion and marketing. But the fans came out. The fans wanted hockey back in Baton Rouge, and they've responded. And I tell you what, yeah, they've had this like month and a half gap going on, 2.5 months uh, with home games. Um, I'm seeing a lot of noise being made. I expect 5,000 plus easily on February 29th when they play their first home game back after a long time. And they've got 11 home dates left, so they've got a chance to really boost their numbers. But yeah, so they're 36-26, great average for a first year team. And then finally we have the Blue Ridge Bobcats, got off to a slow start, and it was understandable because I mean they're a brand new market. I mean, there's never been hockey in this part of the state. If you wanted hockey before, you had to travel all the way up to Roanoke, which is 3 hours away, or almost 3 hours away. And their numbers are getting better and better and better and better each week with their draw as people are finally figuring out, hey, we got a hockey team here. I want to see this. So yeah, their numbers are up to 1233. I want to say after like at the end of November they were like in high 900s, and now already they boosted that average up to 1233. So uh, kudos to the front office staff of the Blue Ridge Bobcats because they're doing a phenomenal job getting the word out, doing promotions, going out into the community. So you got a good draw. So anyway, between these two new teams, we have an additional 48.59 coming in per game. So that bumps our total for this year up to 24,424, which compared to last year's numbers is an increase of 21.9%. So, that is awesome. And with the prospects of next year, there potentially being 12 teams. I know that is the goal for the league, is to have a 12-team league next year. Uh, that could increase even more. So yeah, things are looking good. Um, Again, a couple teams are down, but especially with Port Huron and Binghamton, I think those numbers are going to improve. Um, and Elmira, we kind of hope and pray that things improve and quickly. We're about 60% of the way through the season now. So there's still time to get things turned around. So anyway, I wanted to look at that with you and share that. And being that I was able to do this on video, we had a whiteboard, so you got the visuals. And yeah, you can see there's still a lot of home dates left for most teams. Binghamton, they have the fewest amount of home games left, but that's still 9 games left. Uh, so it looks like good things are happening in the FPHL with attendance, and I'm very curious to see once we get to April what the numbers look like. All right, so there you go. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how you feel about your team and how the draw is going. All right, tomorrow back to work, so we'll be back on Spotify. Make sure you're following me on Spotify, on Facebook, and here on YouTube. All right, appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. We will catch you guys again tomorrow.